Hey everybody, I'm Zombie Johnny, and today we're going to be taking a look at another series that was born and bred in my homeland of Canada. Also was turned into a Netflix series. This is Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire and published by DC Comics Vertigo. Sweet Tooth had an original run from September of 2009 to August of 2021. The story of Sweet Tooth begins with a young boy who is having a bad dream. The boy wakes up from his dream and begins his day. This young boy isn't like any other boy. He has antlers and ears, just like a deer. This young boy lives alone in the woods with his father. The boy's father explained to him that there was an accident that caused kids to be born with fur and tails, just like him. The young boy's father also explained to him that he is the only one left of his kind. One day, the young boy is out in the woods and he finds a candy bar. He heads back to the cabin and his father yells at him. This is where we find out that the young boy's name is Gus. Gus gets in trouble for eating the chocolate bar, and his father explains to him why he must never leave the woods that they are in. Gus, his father, is sick. He doesn't have much time left, so he must ensure that Gus does not leave the woods. After that day, Gus's father's health declines very quickly, and he passes away. Gus is left all alone in the woods. After Gus buries his father, a deer approaches him. Then, the deer is struck down by some hunters. The hunters thought the deer was Gus, but Gus quickly runs and hides in the tree line. While the hunters are looking for Gus, he shoots them with his slingshot, but it gives away his position. The two hunters are looking for hybrid children, just like Gus. The hunters capture Gus and are about to take him away. Then, a gunshot rings out and one of the hunters is killed. A large man with a gun approaches and takes out the other hunter quickly. He turns to tell Gus he is safe, but Gus has fled back to his cabin. The man enters the cabin and pulls Gus from under the bed. The man asks Gus about his mother and father. Gus explains to the man that his father died when the snow melted. The man explains to Gus that people are dying from some sort of plague. The man introduces himself as Jeopard and asks Gus if he knows about the preserve. Gus doesn't understand, and Jeopard explains that there is a preserve where hybrid children are free and no one is hunting them. Gus is reluctant to go with Jeopard, but Gus doesn't want to be left alone anymore. He agrees to go with him. This is the first time Gus has ever left the woods that he swore to his father that he would never leave. Gus takes his first step outside of the forest and jumps on horseback with the big man, and they ride off into the evening. This is where our adventure begins. The story of Sweet Tooth chugs along at a really good pace. It's not too slow and not too heavy on dialogue. After reading things like Death Note or Batman The Dark Knight Returns, it's refreshing to have a story that is just the right balance of art and dialogue. I read through this whole story in about 2 days. This is what happens when you get COVID and have to isolate for a week. Lemire's artwork is kind of crude and rough, but that adds to its overall charm. His style seems very familiar to me, but I don't know of any of his other works. But I get this Ben Templesmith, Charlie Adler, Ashley Wood feel from his work. Lemire's work has grit and grime. It isn't polished, but it really adds to the essence of the story. This story is gritty and dark, so the artwork and the story complement one another very nicely. Lemire's artwork is also a little bit off-putting. You'd think something like Animal Hybrid Children would be a little bit more cute and fuzzy, but all of the children are almost grotesque in their features. It's almost like you're looking at them from the perspective of the surviving humans in the story. These hybrid children are some sort of abomination and you're supposed to find them disgusting. That being said, some of the people in the story can have features that aren't very appealing either. So now I would like to talk about the Netflix series. The Netflix series started in June of 2021, which means the comic was starting to wrap up as the first season of the show had aired. The basic premise of the story is followed in the show, but the overarching storylines do not intersect very often. There are a few parts that are similar, but the show is kind of its own entity, much like The Walking Dead. Sweet Tooth the comic and Sweet Tooth the show are two separate bodies of work. The comic is, like I said, rough and gritty, whereas the show is meant for a much broader audience. When people like my mom are watching the show and enjoying it, then you know it's meant for almost everyone. Not a chance that she is going to be reading the comic book anytime soon. I would even let my kids watch this show. The show is still in its first season, so that means that I don't have a full scope of the series, but from what I've seen is actually pretty darn good. I do like the changes that they have made, and it's very well done. I can remember seeing comic issues hitting the shelves back in 2009 at the comic book shop I frequently visited in the city. I always thought it was kind of weird, maybe a little bit off-putting. It was always in the back of my mind. But when the Netflix show was announced and the Compendium Edition was released, I, of course, had to get it. The Compendium Edition is thick as a brick. It is a paperback edition, and I am not sure if they will release a hardcover version, but it would be a pretty penny. This paperback compendium was around $80 Canadian, and to be honest, folks, that is usually well out of my price range, but considering how much material is here, I had to shell out for it. The page weight is unfortunately a little light, and my big dumb hands always felt like they were going to rip the pages when I was turning them. And the other thing is that the copy that I purchased was a little bit worse for wear. It has a couple of beat up corners and some edge damage, and I just know from now on I'm going to have to baby this book so it doesn't take any more damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Overall, Sweet Tooth is a great series, and I'll be fully honest, this is probably one of the very few and very rare times that I got a little misty-eyed during the ending of a comic book. Don't worry, I won't spoil anything, but the ending is a great little cherry on top of a great survival story. You really start rooting for all the characters throughout the story. You want them to succeed and survive. Though the survival story, it can be a little shocking at times, or somewhat cruel, but the series is still worth reading, and it's a series worth having in your collection. Total page count, 920. Total volumes, 1 compendium edition or 6 graphic novels. Total score, 5 out of 5. This is a must-own comic. Thank you so much once again, everybody, for all the support. I hope you enjoyed this review. I know I did making it, and I am really excited for the second season of Sweet Tooth to come out, the Netflix series. Not sure when it's supposed to come out, or if it's probably in the works as we speak. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I know that I need to get the 400 subscriber special done. Unfortunately, just lately I have not had the time. It has been incredibly busy, and as I stated in the review, I had COVID, and that was not fun, and that took 2 weeks out of my life where I could barely do anything. So like I said, I finished a few comics and series in my backlog, and that was great, and I got a lot done with that, and I wrote a bunch of reviews. Hopefully I'll be able to get to them soon, and you guys will be able to watch them. I know the past couple reviews that I've done, they were kind of back to back and really close together, but just with how things are going and being busy, it's been difficult to find the time to get things done. But with summer holidays coming up, hopefully I'll be able to hunker down and read some more series and get more reviews done. And what else can I say? Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for the support. Keep your eyes out for the 400 subscriber special. It will be happening soon. I still haven't really decided what I want to do with it. I mean, I have my idea and I'm ready for it, but there's kind of planning around it and how I want to execute that. I haven't really quite decided just yet, but keep your eyes out for that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and please like the video, comment, whatever. This is a great little community that we've started, so let's keep it going. It's going to be a great summer, and we're going to have lots of fun, and we're going to do some really great reviews. I mentioned in the other one a couple really big reviews coming up. It's a huge series, and I hope you come along for the ride. I'm Zombie Johnny. Peace.